Buenos días. En esta oportunidad vamos a entrevistar a Beatrice Fihn. Beatrice es la coordinadora de ICAN, organización que ganó el Premio Nobel de la Paz en el 2017. So thank you, Beatrice, to receiving us in your office. And the first question is just how this banning nuclear weapons goes from the idea to reality. How it happened? It's one day I say, okay, we're going to ban nuclear weapons. How this worked?
Well, as many great ideas, I think it started over beers. Just a group of people who gathered together and realized that we cannot wait for the nuclear armed states to take action. We have to do it ourselves. And we don't have to wait for presidents or prime ministers. Regular citizens can do something. So, very much based or inspired by the campaigns to ban landmines, the campaigns to ban cluster munitions, looking at the treaties that prohibits chemical weapons and biological weapons, we realized that there was no prohibition on nuclear weapons. We had lots of treaties and lots of decisions and UN resolutions, but no clear sort of legal language saying nuclear weapons are bad and illegal. So we decided to change that, really. And we worked very closely with civil society, mobilizing a wide coalition of organizations. And we worked very closely with a group of governments that were very committed and wanted to achieve something, organizations such as the UN, the ICRC. And we formed sort of a partnership with these and worked together. We based the idea around that nuclear weapons are inhumane. They cause catastrophic humanitarian consequences. And therefore, we have to look at them in the light that was the same light as we looked at other weapons. You're not supposed to target civilians in warfare. You're not supposed to use excess force. The laws of war that the whole world has agreed to really don't reason very well with nuclear weapons. So let's treat nuclear weapons the way we treated biological weapons, chemical weapons, landmines, clusters, and just ban them. So we had a series of conferences and got governments to agree to start negotiations, and in 2017, in July, we adopted the treaty.
Wow. That's amazing.
Easy. No.
Yes, it's not. And what is the role, because this is for our region, what is the role of Latin American region, Caribbean region in all this process? Because we know that the nuclear weapons are already banned in our region. So what role they play during the negotiations?
They played an enormously important role. And without the support from the countries in that region, we would not have achieved the treaty. Latin America and the Caribbean was the first region that banned nuclear weapons regionally through the Treaty of Tlatelolco. And that came as a response to the Cuban Missile Crisis, where nuclear war was really close in the region. And these ships from Russia and the United States were aiming at the Caribbean. And that would impact the entire region. I think the leaders on the continent realized that. And I think it also is really important to have leadership from the Latin American region, because not only would they be victims of nuclear war, but also, the way nuclear weapons is seen in the world. I find it very much like an injustice issue. It's an issue of power. A small group of countries, rich, with the biggest military powers, have taken control and decided that we get to have this weapon and nobody else has it. It's what the South African delegation said, nuclear apartheid. Some countries are more equal than others. We are the important ones. And the rest of the world, we can dominate and bully them around. So there's an enormous power in mobilizing these countries without nuclear weapons to stand up and say, no, we're not going to take this. We're not going to allow the rules to be in the powerful's favor. It's going to be equal for everyone. It's like a democratic revolution, but on a global, multilateral stage. So, and I think that the Latin American countries have been, champion states in all of these treaties and been very active on disarmament for a long time. And I think that that's It's a tradition through the sort of political leadership and through people, of course. And I think that's why it was very natural for them to be leaders. And right now, I think most of the countries in the region have joined the treaty, have signed it. There's of course a few countries left. Some that aren't are very small and haven't gotten around to it yet, and some of their because of their close
like my country,
like
Argentina,
very close relationship.
But we have Colombia now.
Yes, we've had Colombia. So
that's
in
great.
in the South America region, it's just Argentina left. But we're working on that.
Yes.
So, but I think it's a very it's this region also has a bit of confidence in acting as a region and acting in defiance of the most powerful in a world, and I think it's maybe it's a cultural thing.
Well, we're in the backyard of the states.
Absolutely.
So it's something natural, like just to be always a tension between states and the rest of the region.
So I think it's really we've seen a lot of courage from some of these countries. You have a country like Mexico, for example, that's been a leader in this. That has a border to the United States. It's not far away from the former nuclear test sites in the United States. If there's nuclear war in the United States, of course it will impact Mexico. So I think that we've seen very strong leadership from the region.
And now we have the treaty. We need 50 countries to get their entry into force of the treaty. And there's slowly moving the ratifications. And so what's next? What happened? What is the future for the treaty, for the nuclear disarmament globally?
Well, I think that this treaty is really, it's not the end goal. It's a tool that we can use to change the way we see nuclear weapons in the world. And ultimately, that has to impact the nuclear armed states. But in order to get this kind of shift of mindset around nuclear weapons, where we go from thinking that, where the nuclear armed states will go from thinking that they are powerful, full of prestige, and keeps us safe, to, oh my god, they're really dangerous, they're really expensive and dangerous, and we need to get rid of them soon. We need the help of all these other countries that already have decided not to have nuclear weapons. So each country that signs and ratifies, will chip away at the legitimacy of nuclear weapons. It's very hard for a small country to influence the United States or Russia. They don't really like
it's the other way around.
Yeah, often. But by joining this treaty, it challenges that, and it puts the nuclear armed states on the back foot. And we can see how stressed the nuclear armed states have become and how aggressively they try to undermine this treaty, because they understand that if the rest of the world unifies and say that nuclear weapons are illegal, that's going to have an impact. That's going to make it difficult for them to keep their nuclear weapons. So we really need to continue now to get as many states to sign and ratify the treaty. We're getting new ratifications every month, hopefully lots of new signatures as well. And once we got 50, it will enter into force, it will become officially international law. And then international law will say that these weapons are illegal. And the P5, the most powerful countries in the world, will be on the outside of that.
Yes.
They will be the outliers. And that's a powerful message that is going to send. So each person, each country, each organization has a role to play in shifting the norm around nuclear weapons.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Again, and we'll continue working.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.